Hello, and thank you for joining us. We are officially 1 month into the new administration, and President Trump is continuing with his efforts to reshape the federal government. He signed another executive order Wednesday, this one aimed at the, quote, reduction of the federal bureaucracy. It will abolish federal advisory committees, including one that advises the health department on long COVID, and a council that advises on regulating consumer prices. It's one of at least 73 executive orders penned by the president so far, including 16 on foreign policy, 10 on diversity, equity, and inclusion, 7 on immigration, and 13 on the federal government. Cutting down the federal workforce has also been a defining part of President Trump's first month back in the White House. CBS News has learned more than 6,000 IRS employees are expected to be fired by the end of the week, including 3,500 from the Small Business Self-Employed Division. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez joins me now. Nancy, 1 month, 73 executive orders, more than 100 executive actions. Is this a new record, and is it safe to say we have a clear picture of the president's plans over the next 4 years?
It's definitely a new record, and it's an indication of how quickly this administration plans to move now that President Trump is back in office. And it's a striking change, Lindsay, from his first term when he and many of his aides were learning the ropes, and frankly, many of his aides were trying to hold him back from some of the things that he wanted to do. That is not the case this time around, and you pointed out the job cuts across the federal government. They are moving ahead with full force on those, particularly when it comes to the IRS. We are told that they are cognizant of the fact that we are in tax filing season right now, and so their first rounds of cuts primarily affect people who work in enforcement in the small business branch in particular. So they say it won't necessarily have much of an impact on people who are trying to file their taxes right now.
What does enforcement mean, like audits?
Correct. So if you don't pay your taxes, if you underpay your taxes, if you lie or cheat on your taxes, that's when enforcement might be in order. And it's important in the small business section in particular, because that's often where they find tax underpayment at higher rates than in larger corporations or in individual taxes. And so it's likely that it'll have some kind of effect. We're looking at a cut of about 5% of the IRS workforce, but those cuts are going to be implemented in stages. So it remains to be seen whether we'll be looking at less revenue down the road as a result of these cuts.
I guess that's a good thing. I don't know what an enforcement IRS agent is. They haven't come knocking on my door yet. President Trump has repeatedly vowed that Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, those are not on the chopping block when Republicans in Congress propose cuts to the budget. But this week we saw President Trump support a House GOP funding plan that, among other things, would cut funding to Medicaid. Can you help us understand what's happening?
Absolutely. So there's this huge bill that Republicans are planning to try to move through Congress, ran through Congress with Republican support only. It does a lot of different things. It beefs up immigration enforcement, more physical barriers for immigration. There is an energy package in that bill as well. But the big price tag has to do with the 2017 era Trump tax cuts that are expiring that they want to renew. And that is going to cost about $4.5 trillion. And more conservative members of the Republican Party are insisting that that needs to be offset with spending cuts somewhere else. Well, it is really hard to find $4.5 trillion to easily cut from the federal budget. It's actually impossible. So they're setting their sights lower, but still, when you're looking for cuts anywhere near that magnitude, you look at entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So House Republicans want to cut from Medicaid. President Trump, while he says he supports their big bill, it has a lot of his priorities in it, he has also said, as recently as the other night in an interview with Fox News, that he's not going to touch Medicaid. So he'll be forced to go one way or the other at some point, but right now he's saying both.
Nancy Cortez, thank you. Later this hour, we will speak to Dr. Celine Gounder, a closer look at the health impact of these Medicaid cuts to Americans.